mental illness has become a really big thing, and as someone who became schizophrenic, after 6.5 years earning this hat, and getting that hat or whatever, but every illness that exists, including mental illness, our designer has created a cure. It's just our job to find it. And after I went schizophrenic in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, I noticed that I had symptoms, hearing voices, getting strange ideas, things like this. My mind was breaking, basically. And so what I did was I searched for the instinctive science of the path that leads to the divine, to God, And it's the same with the science of the path is the same with the shaman path. And that's what initially caught my attention, because in an uncivilized civilization, when somebody exhibits the symptoms of becoming a shaman, it's the same. They throw them into the wilderness with other shamans, and they teach them the shaman path, and they come back with wisdom and stuff, and all this stuff, doing shaman things and stuff. And in the civilized world, they throw them into the doctor and give them pills and tell them their mind's messed up and they need to stop thinking. So it's two different paths, two different forms of medicine, And I noticed the science of the path for the prophet is the same as the science of the path for the shaman, you know what I mean? It's the same science as the science of the path for the Buddha to connect to the divine, All paths, the science is the same. And books, they're basically maps to the divine, Again, the instinctive education this planet offers. Heck, meditate all the time, prayer, meditation all the time, ask all these questions. And since you have this educated mind, you gain the education this planet offers, you'll be able to answer your questions, And it's answering these questions and following the path in life that leads to the divine, that leads to God, And I'm just saying, I've been doing this whole meditation thing, studying nature thing, and, asking all the questions that my life's path put into my brain or whatnot, And that's just the path I've been living. And I've been doing it to maintain my mind, because I'm schizophrenic, I'm schizophrenic. I have to maintain my mind, I have to use logic as a crutch. I have to understand things within my mind if I allow them to grow. If I allow a thought to grow that I do not understand, I can't do that, because that's delusional. And because of this, my only faith that I have is my faith in God, the fact that God designed everything perfectly within the realm of eternity, and to include destiny as a factor, and the Big Bang was a controlled explosion, and that's what's going on. Everything that's going on, God willed it to exist, That's just the truth. That's my faith. I have faith in nothing but God's plan. That's it, I don't have faith in things I'll understand, because if I do that, I'll become delusional, But the thing is, this medicine exists. It's medicine. It's native medicine. It's medicine our God placed on here, to heal our minds. And think of it as simple as this, You take someone who's stressed out, in whatever ways they're stressed out and depressed and all these other emotional things, and you throw them once an hour by the river. You drop them off at the river. You leave them there. You take off, They just sit down and they stare at the river. Maybe they smoke a joint, Maybe they eat some food and have some drink. But they just sit by the river for an hour a day. And what they'll do is that river will be put into the subconscious mind. And the way I do it once a day. I don't do it an hour a day, but I do it once a day, Every day I try to go to the sit outside or stuff like that, meditate every day. But once a day I try to go to the mountains and chill by the river for the whole day. And what this does is, it's the native medicine, it's the science of the path. It's the benefits for my mental health kind of thing. And what it does is, for the next week or so, 8 days or so, after I leave this full day at the mountains, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7, those days, my subconscious mind will go through that day randomly, and I'll just be chilling, being stressed, and then bam, in my head, I'm like, ooh, the river, my subconscious is going through the river and thinking about it, and it brings a calming effect, native medicine, that's what I'm saying, it's the science of the path that, if you're native, follow the science of the shaman path, if you have a book that's a map to God, follow the science of the path of the prophet, getting the same education, ask the same questions, figure out what they are, you have to figure them out, ask the same questions, answer them, be able to speak the divine name, ultimate goal. People with Master God, the ultimate goal is to speak that divine name, so you can get a response, because it's one of those things where you can say the name wrong countless times, and God will hear you every time. But you must, once you speak their name correctly, they will answer you, because that's how they are. They're eternal. That's one of their laws. They'll answer you, you know. And if you're Buddhist, you know, follow the science of the path of the Buddha. All that stuff the Buddha did, do all of it. You know, don't just jump on the end of the path. Do all that stuff the Buddha did. Search for all those understandings in nature, you know what I mean? Answer all your questions yourself and meditate. You know? Stuff like that. Yeah. That's basically it, you know? This world's jacked up and mental illness is a big thing, and the science of the path heals mental illness. It doesn't heal mental illness, it maintains mental illness, you know? And that's what medicine is. If you go to the doctor and give me a pill every day for the rest of my life to treat my schizophrenia, you know? Instead of doing that, I just follow the science of the path that leads to the divine instead, you know? Because it's just as good. It's just as good medicine. The medicine is just as good, you know? And it's basically free. It doesn't cost me any money, you know? But yeah, every illness that exists, there's a cure. And it just turns out that the cure to schizophrenia is to connect to the divine, to gain the instinctive education and walk the instinctive path, you know? It's hidden because it's instinctive. It's just something that happens, you know? It just triggers our mind and cause an effect within our mind, you know? All this stuff. And at the end of this path, there's the one we all try to pray to, you know? We're able to do it. You're able to do it, you know? So anyways, yeah, I think this whole world's mentally ill. Just the way everything's organized, you know, how this world's organized. It seems to be organized by people on the path to God, but they haven't finished the path of God, so they don't know God, you know, so that's kind of what's going on, you know. So everybody just needs to finish the path to God. It'd be good medicine for this planet, you know. And as someone who is able to speak the divine name now, you know, and since I was following the native science of the shaman path, I'm a shaman now, just because that's how it works out. If I was following the prophet path, I'd be a prophet. If I was following the Buddha path, I'd be a Buddha, you know? A little bit of all of it. It's all the same. It's all the same, you know? If I was following the path that Da Vinci followed, I'd be a scientist, you know? If I followed the path that Aesop followed, I'd be a philosopher. I threw those people in there, you know, because the instinctive path to knowledge leads to all forms of knowledge, including the knowledge of who we're all trying to pray to, you know, and being able to speak their name, but also science, religion, philosophy, everything, you know? Building shelter, eating food, the way to live, different things, you know? But, yeah, that's it. The medicine that I'm going to prescribe as a shaman, an actual shaman, you know, by accidentally happened, my bad. Just doing it to maintain my mental health or whatever, but the medicine I'm going to prescribe for this planet is to whatever path in life you're on, follow the instinctive path. You call it a shaman, follow that instinctive science. You call it a prophet, follow that instinctive science. You call it a Buddha, follow that instinctive science. No, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know, just follow that. Reach the divine. Reach God. You know, whatever you want to call it. Call them. You know, reach it. And you'll have a very educated mind, and you'll be able to have things like divine wisdom, and you can apply it to your life and the people around you. You know, and if enough people do this and finish this path, I would like to say the world will heal itself, but God will heal this world because, you know, God's wisdom will be more present in our lives. And that's the medicine I have for this planet. I'm going to prescribe every single human to, you know, follow the instinctive path that leads to God. Whatever your word for God may be. God, Allah, the Great Spirit, Yahweh, Jehovah, you know. Truth, you know. It's a name for God too. Truth. You can search for truth and acknowledge that all definitions of who we're trying to pray to are insufficient, you know. Because that is the truth. Every word and name and explanation of who God is insufficient when we use our verbal communication, you know. And that's the truth